This is going to be the next installment on squatting. So once again, our objective here is to build up our squat proficiency until we're ready to get under a bar and start doing barbell squats. And once again, many athletes, like yourself, at LaSalle College, have a history of ankle injuries, knee injuries, and whatnot, develop scar tissue in the joints, and their range of motion in those injured joints is off. It's either eliminated, or the joints above it, or too much and compensating, and their squats look terrible. So this video upload series is about getting you back into the squat, developing the mobility and the stability you need to throw a barbell on your back and start crushing some weights. Okay? So once you've practiced the goblet squat, which is the previous upload in this playlist, you can begin to use the goblet squat for some conditioning. All right? So the advantage here is you practice the goblet squat to work on your technique. The advantage here is we want to start seeing if you can maintain your form under fatigue. So this is called a rack walk. And the example I have here is with relatively small kettlebells, because it's all they have in the small group training studio here at my gym. All the big kettlebells are upstairs in the weight room. The dumbbells are upstairs in the weight room. Big dumbbell racks. The dumbbell rack goes from 5 up to 110 pounds. The kettlebell rack goes from 20 up to 70 pounds. So you want to do this moving from a relatively light weight to a relatively heavy weight. Okay? This small sample right now is all I have for a resource because the weight room upstairs is too crowded to film. But I'll give you the concept. When you do a rack walk, you're going to goblet squat for a set of 3 repetitions. You do 3 repetitions with a small weight. Put the weight down. Go to the next heavier weight. 3 repetitions. Put it down. Next weight. 3 repetitions. And so on and so forth. If you're going on a dumbbell rack, you're going to want to start with 20 pounds and go as long as you can. If you can only get up to 60 pounds, then that's fine. If you can get all the way up to 120 pounds or whatever you have, that's fine too. All right? Go to your limit. Only doing sets of 3. Okay? Now, when you do this, your rest interval while you're doing the workout is only enough time to put one weight down, pick the other weight up. Put one weight down, pick the other one up, and get at it. Your long rest interval is once you've completed the rack walk. Then you take 3, 5 minutes, catch your breath, let yourself recover. Okay? If you're doing it with a dumbbell, you hold the dumbbell like this. Elbows to knees, back up. And a quick review for the kettlebell. If you're doing it with a kettlebell, as you learned in the previous video, you hold the kettlebell by the horns, pinch the ball with the elbows to knees. When you're first getting into a rack walk, it's going to be fatiguing, cardiovascularly. Your legs are going to be burning. You may be sore for a couple days afterwards. That's fine. You want to make sure that you rest and you eat to recover. Okay? Don't attempt this again until your legs are fully healed. Once your legs are fully healed, do another rack walk from low to high. Okay? You may notice that as you practice this, you're not going to be sore for 2 or 3 days, but as you adapt, you're only going to be sore for a day afterwards. Once you're able to do a set of rack walks and not be sore the next day, then you build up to doing it 3 days a week, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay? Once you're doing the rack walk Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then you begin to change the actual rack walk workout. So instead of just walking up, you walk up to your heavy weight, and then you walk all the way back down. And then you see how you feel the next day. Do you need to take a couple days off, or can you go at it, after a day's rest? That being said, the first time you do a rack walk, let's say you go from 20 pounds up to 70 pounds. 70 pounds is your stop until you're building up 3 days a week. You will always stop at 70 pounds. Once your recovery is 24 hours, so you do a rack walk, 24 hours, you're completely fine and you can do it again, then you can start bumping the weight up a little bit more. But until then, stay within that original frame so you're not overtraining yourself. Okay, you have to remember, this is all about adaptation. You want to train up to a certain limit, And if your body is sore the next day, that means it's in the process of adapting. You want to keep training within that limit until your recovery is quick. And when your recovery is quick, 24 hours, then you can start progressing your weight. But if you train up to 70 pounds, like if you do a rack walk from 20 to 70 pounds and you're sore for 3 days afterwards, and the next time you try going up to 85 pounds, you're just going to be breaking yourself down. Allow yourself time to adapt before you push yourself further. That way you avoid injury.